What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Corridor Cast. Here with me, I have Mike Diva. He is an internet tastemaker, a longtime collaborator, and a good friend of ours. Before we get started into the podcast, just want to thank you guys for listening, and I want to shout out to our sponsor, which is us. You can go to corridordigital.store, pick up some merchandise if you would like to support this podcast, which is free and always will be. So enjoy. Cool.
Hey, how's it going, Sam?
It's going great. Mike.
I'd like to give a shout out to my sponsor, MailChimp and Audible. You can get books read to you on Audible. MailChimp, you better send all those emails to everyone you know. MailChimp. That's
wow. I wish, is that like a personal sponsor?
It's my life sponsor, man.
Wow. Oh man, that's incredible.
You'll get there soon. Life sponsors, it's pretty great. I bring them up in every conversation I have now. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, wait, what is a life sponsor?
Oh yeah, I just talk about MailChimp. I email everyone I know, and I tell them, hey, you better sign up with MailChimp, not MailChimp, not MailShrimp, but MailChimp. Okay, and then people get it confused a lot. It caused a lot of wacky situations.
Sweet.
Off to a good start.
Yeah,
Second
I know.
episode
Off to a banger. All right.
Corridorcast. Oh God, I'll just leave, guys.
It's sorry. Okay. Well, okay. So there's one thing. One thing I've noticed over the last year after talking with you a bunch, it seems like you are achieving your dreams in a sense. I would say like there's two experiences in particular that I've heard about here and we've talked about a little bit that I find very interesting. You obviously worked with the Lonely Island guys a whole bunch recently, and even more recently than that, you actually did a segment for Off the Air, which is that show on Adult Swim. And these are huge projects. And I just kind of want to know, like, first off, let's start at the beginning here. The Lonely Island project, what was that all about?
Yeah, so it's just like one of those examples of like crazy Hollywood serendipity that you hear about.
Yeah.
Where I was basically on my way to a lunch meeting with this producer, Mike Rosenstein, and he ran into Akiva from Lonely Island on the way to the meeting. He was like, oh, I'm going to meet with this guy, Mike Diva. And he hadn't heard of me. And so Mike sent him a bunch of my stuff via email. He did not use MailChimp, unfortunately. That was his mistake. But he sent him a bunch of my stuff. And then Akiva reached out to me and was like, hey, let's meet up. And Akiva's the one, for those who don't know, he's the nerdy one.
He's
with
the nerdy
glasses.
one?
He directs all their stuff, and yeah, he's like somebody who has really been my hero since I was like 13. I mean, I was watching their shit before YouTube, you know, when it was like on their website, and part of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because of those guys. So, super surreal. And I go hang out with him and we, get along pretty good. And he asked me to basically creative direct and like make all the visuals and stuff for their live show. So I ended up doing that. And
this live show of theirs, this is like their like pre-existing works, like they're the songs that they've made big on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ones we're familiar with, like I'm on a boat
and Like a Boss.
Okay.
And I Just Had Sex and Threw It on the Ground. So all that stuff. And I got to really weigh in creatively and be like, okay, like I want, for Threw It on the Ground, it's very like, it'd be great if we can get Andy on a stool just in the center of the stage with all black, around him, no lights or anything like that. And then when the drop hits, I want like for the energy drink being thrown on the ground, I want like it to come from the top and like explode. And then like the lighting guy like hits all the lights and flashes everything. Like, I got to work with every element of the team, including the lighting and stuff, which was really fun because I'd never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
And I kind of lied to them and told them that I had.
Ooh.
I was like, oh yeah, I've done live visual stuff. I've creative directed live shows and stuff before. Yeah.
I mean, it's not that hard, right?
No, yeah, it was totally like my first time doing any of that. And so, it was really like surreal, like hanging out with them for rehearsals and going over everything and like having them like really listen to my input.
Wow.
And so that's turned into me essentially working with Akiva more. I just worked on this Netflix show that he's producing for another comedian, Tim Robinson, who's really, really, really funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some stuff for that. And then I'm and I can't really talk about it that much,
Sure.
but
Makes sense.
I'm co-directing a thing with him.
That's really exciting.
That's
awesome.
It's
Congrats.
very surreal. It's like one of those things where it's like, I don't know why you're asking me to do this, because like you're more than fine like directing by yourself, but I will gladly go along for the ride. And it's one of those things I was telling Nico earlier, like, you know, we've hung out a bunch, but like still every time I'm hanging out with him, it's like that whole like talking to a really pretty girl, you know? It's like I'm like trying really hard to be cool, you know? Just like trying a little too hard and be like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Oh yeah, cool. I totally know what that is. Yeah, I mean, whatever, dude. Yeah, totally. And like the whole time I'm just shitting bricks still.
Yeah, that sucks. Oh no, it's awesome.
I
yeah.
mean, it's
I mean, yeah, sweet.
Dude, I fucking love you, dude. You're my fucking hero, dude. What?
yeah, I get it.
But yeah, it's been really fun, man. Very, very cool ride. So, you know, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now is just to make like 13-year-old me happy. I feel like that's been a lot of my career, is like I'm working with a lot of the people that I grew up loving, you know, like it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, yeah, I feel like in a sense, like if you were gonna kind of like draw a line where you have made it, you know, like haven't made it and then making it, it's like I feel like for me, just as an observer, it seems like you're kind of crossing into that threshold finally and hitting your stride with like that creative community that kind of surrounds you.
I hope so.
That seems that way because okay, so like obviously you've been on YouTube. We've made YouTube videos together.
Yeah.
And you know, you've been on YouTube a lot. And all the stuff we're talking about right now isn't YouTube. And so like what has your relationship as with YouTube been like?
It's really interesting. Like I feel like I have a weird YouTube career.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say one of the weirdest that I know of, because it's like my relationship with YouTube has been so. It's like I don't know of any other channels that have like built success to a degree and then like kind of left and then like come back and like built success again and built up a new fan base and then left again.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird, like it's really fucking hard to come back. You know, it's really hard, especially like YouTube is so, I mean, the internet gets more and more unforgiving every day. I mean, fan bases get more and more, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very,
I guess they get scattered, they dissolve.
Yeah, they dissolve so fast, you
Yeah.
know? And like when you make stuff like I do, where it's like my face isn't in it, I'm not necessarily like a character. It's very hard to maintain an audience because people see my shit and they're like, oh, that's cool. And then they'd move on, you know? It's not like they're like, oh, I'm going to find out who did this, you know? Like I would say like 5% of the people who watch my shit are like, ooh, I'm going to click on their channel and subscribe and like see what else they do. So my relationship with YouTube has been like, you know, I started out just putting random shit on there, not really like trying super hard to make a career off of it, but doing enough stuff to where people like you noticed me. And then I forgot who emailed who.
Well, it was the I'm on crack video. I think that was the first thing that I remember seeing.
Okay, so maybe you guys hit me up. Maybe I hit you up.
You know, it doesn't. It
was 8 years ago.
Yeah, it was quite a while.
But you know, and then so like I did the Dubstep Guns video with you guys and started doing more collabs, and then started taking it a little bit more seriously. Built up a bunch of steam, and then we were on this channel called Bamo together. Yeah. That totally ruined. It really fucked me up. I don't know if you guys know about Bamo.
Well, that's what Sync was on. That's our series Sync was for.
Yeah, so we were on this channel together, and it was a fucking mess. It was one of the Google rollout channels that Google threw a bunch of money at.
Yes.
And none of them really worked, except for like Nerdist and Geek and Sundry.
That's crazy.
But you know, it sounded good on paper. It was like, oh, me and Daystorm Power and you know my friends Corridor and Mystery Guitar Man. But everyone, you know, had the ability to keep their main channels maintained, while me, being just a small boy, had to kind of focus all my energy on that for a year. So I lost all the traction that I got from my previous YouTube successes, because I had some viral videos like Sexy Sax Man, and you know, I was like on the Jimmy Kimmel or Fallon show and stuff like that. Like I was getting some pretty decent traction. And then I had to like put it all aside for a channel that failed miserably. Yeah. And then that kind of like, I was kind of lost and like wandering for a bit. And I was like, oh, I really want to do music videos. Like music videos are kind of why I got into this industry, you know, like watching the Michelle Gondry and Chris Cunningham and Spike Jonze Directors Label DVDs.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I still have one of those. The Chris Cunningham one.
And so I'm sure a lot of the people listening to this can also. I don't even know if it's like a generational thing. I don't know if like.
I mean, it's a dinosaur though at this point.
It's and I feel like people
extinct.
our age, people that are like 25 to 30. Will all remember these that are like into filmmaking, but
I have 30 to 40. I think is a little safer.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're old.
Yeah.
But like, so I wanted to get in music videos. Music videos nowadays are kind of a fucking mess as well because there's no budgets for anything.
But why music videos? What's so special about music?
I love music and I love creating a visual element that complements a great song. And I love the idea, like when a video elevates a song, there's nothing better. Like if a video can give you chills because the song is great and the video is great, it's the best feeling, and I want to give people that feeling. Like the Daniels and stuff like that. Yeah. Like all their videos, like give me chills. Yeah. And
like, when in Turn Up for What?
Turn Down for What?
Turn Down for What?
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you chills when he flies through the ceiling and you're like,
just how like perfect all their shit is. It's insane. And so, I wanted to do that, but the problem with music videos is that there's no budgets for anything. And if you want to make something really, really cool, you're, gonna spend the 20, 30,000 budget that the label or whoever has for the video. You're gonna spend it all and not make any money and kill yourself doing it. So I did that for a bit. It was rough. And then I went back to YouTube. Yeah. And then I did a couple other pretty successful videos. I guess you would say viral. It's so funny also because throughout my YouTube career, the idea of virality has changed.
Yeah,
and
it's like changed completely.
Yeah.
Like from what it was 10 years ago, it was just 10 years ago. Virality was anyone competent with like Premiere, basically.
Yeah.
Or like you edited that thing. Oh wow, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, cool. Here's millions and millions of views.
Yeah,
and then off those millions and millions of views, you could live for like a year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, but the Sexy Saxman video, like that video paid my rent for a year.
That's incredible.
Like a year and a half. Like I was coasting on that shit for a while. And then
I'd probably get demonetized now.
Yeah. And then a year and a half ago, I made, or 2 years, Jesus Christ, I can't even remember. I made this video, Kazoo Kid Trap Remix. I made another video called Japanese Donald Trump Commercial.
Yeah.
I kind of rode this.
Yeah, you were on a streak there.
I was on a streak there for a bit.
Those are good oones.
I was riding a vaporwave wave.
Yeah.
A little bit. And, because like, also before that, I like to latch on to musical genres that I actually like that also are starting to kind of like come up, like
what?
Like dubstep was when we made dubstep guns and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that
dubstep was pretty cool.
It was brand new.
Yeah,
it was just on the up and up. So it was cool to kind of like make a lot of kind of dubstep related videos and kind of ride that wave.
Yeah.
And then
dubstep memes.
Yeah, dubstep memes and stuff. So, anyways, blah blah blah. After the success of like the Japanese Donald Trump commercial and stuff like that, I started getting hit up by companies wanting commercials and stuff more. And commercials are great.
It's funny how that's the one.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, because that went viral, but also you watch it and it definitely stands out from your other work because there's like this like level of it's a music video, definitely. Like I feel like that's kind of what it is at its core, because like the song at times is even cooler than the video, and then at times the video is cooler than the music. It's like that's kind of like what a good music video really is.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like they kind of go hand in hand and trade off a little bit, and I don't know, it's fascinating.
Exactly. I mean, and that's kind of like that plays into like my whole wanting to make music video stuff. And like the most recent thing I did, the off the air thing too, is like when I get to actually have a hand in the music, I'm the most happy, because like a lot of the times the stuff that I get offered to do music videos for, the songs 9 times out of 10 aren't really great, and so I end up turning them down or whatever.
Definitely.
But it's really fun when you get to make your own music for it. But so yeah, it's interesting that was like a video that really helped my career in the commercial world take off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of like a rocky kind of path, and I'm really focusing a lot of my energy on that. And it's a lot of like writing pitches and not getting picked and blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
I'm a smaller commercial director. I've only had a couple commercials that are like, but after focusing on that, I kind of have let my YouTube channel die a little bit as well. And that's kind of due to the fact that I'm only one dude. I only have so much time. And also YouTube doesn't make me any money anymore. And YouTube doesn't really make that many people money anymore unless you're like, you know, you have a team and you're able to pump out stuff every week or every 3 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, with the way that you guys have your whole thing set up, it makes, you know, of course, like I feel like you guys are the only ones that can sustain creativity on YouTube and monetize it. There's like nobody else I can think of. There's literally nobody else I can think of that's like able to, except for maybe like the Raka Raka. That's able to,
although they're all demonetized now because of all the wacky, you know, clown gore.
It's fucked up, man. So a lot of it is like, you know, half of it is like me like being like, all right, commercials actually make me good money and I'm able to live off of that shit. Yeah. And I'm able to work my weirdness into them sometimes, which is great. Like I did this Halo Top commercial that ended up being top 10 ads of the year in Adweek, which is like the highest honor a commercial could get pretty much. And even still, like after that, I still haven't gotten much more commercial work from that. It's a weird world, the commercial world.
So if you haven't seen the Halo Top commercial, you should just head over to his YouTube channel. Hopefully, you've already done that by now, if you're listening to this podcast. But okay, what's it like trying to pitch someone a commercial like that?
Well, that one was interesting.
It's so weird, you know.
Yeah.
Like, are you in the room just like, is it crickets? You know, like so. She's like trapped in this ice cream room forever, and it's like, how did that go?
That one was crazy because like I had to. It was an ice cream commercial, and they literally approached me and were like, "Hey, we already have commercials that tell you why Halo Top's good. We want something that just gets the internet's attention." And there's 2 ways to get the internet's attention: doing something so fucking cool and crazy that people share it, which is very expensive and very rare. Yeah. But you guys do it, and you know it happens, right? But like it's rare for a commercial to do that. Like Old Spice does it, you know. And their shit's also really funny. Yeah. The other way is do something that is so fucking weird that people are like, "How is this a commercial?"
Yeah. It's like, what?
Yeah. So I decided to go that way. That's the way I usually like to go, anyways, because it's more fun for me. With that idea, I was like banging my head against the wall because there's already a weird ice cream commercial out there. I don't know if you guys have seen the Little Babies ice cream commercial with the person covered in ice cream eating ice cream out of their head.
No,
That
sounds incredibly weird, though.
It's incredibly weird. It's another weird ice cream commercial, and that one kind of viral like 5 or 6 years ago. So I had to compete with that. So my producer brought over a bunch of Four Loko. We got very drunk off the Four Loko, and I like to think that the Loko kind of charged hit my brain in a weird way.
So is that your like creative fuel?
I guess now, yeah. He saw it at the store, thought it was funny, and then brought it over, and that like gave me the idea.
I only had one. I only drank that stuff once.
They're fucking gross.
And I played it during Dungeons and Dragons. And oh god,
not good. It
was a Four Loko D&D session. And it just like it ends up with like everyone's characters like nude, like trying to intimidate people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, god.
Four Loko brings out some weird shit, man. Yeah. Brings out some demons. No, so anyways, sorry, I'm like rambling, but to finish a moot point, that was an idea where I was like, okay, like they wanted us to send it to them as a pitch, and I was like, there's no way they're gonna read this on paper and like understand the vibe of this. It's just gonna sound like a fucking crazy person, right? So I was like, okay, I need to fucking actually meet with the CEO of Halo Top in person and actually like talk to him about this, because there's no way I'm gonna write this down and like get this job. So I went to his crazy ice cream mansion, insane ice cream mansion.
His insane ice cream.
This guy is fucking crazy, by the way. I could talk about Justin Wolverton like all day. He's fascinating guy. He's a lawyer that decided to make ice cream out of nowhere. And he was like, oh, there's no good low-fat ice cream options. And so he, like a wizard, he fucking went in his kitchen, just started experimenting with ice cream, and then just made Halo Top. And like now he's the #1 ice cream company in the world, which is fucking crazy. Wow. I'm also sponsored by Halo Top, by the way.
Nice.
Anyway, so I like literally had like a text-to-speech thing for the robot voice, and I like acted out the commercial and for him, and like showed him like how funny it is to hear like a robot voice say "eat the ice cream," you know? So it was like a whole song and dance, and I'm still surprised to this day that they let me do that. It's pretty fucking crazy. So blah blah blah. The commercial industry has been fun, but then there's also the side effect of that is that YouTube becomes this drug, and It's something that I think I love talking to creators about it, because everyone that's created a viral video, everyone that's had a certain amount of success on YouTube can relate to this. When you get a video that has millions and millions of hits and millions of comments or hundreds of comments, whatever, you get this dopamine rush.
Yeah.
It's a drug.
It's crazy.
It's a fucking drug.
It's insane. It's insane. Like, you see that view counter going and you're like, I'm a genius.
Yeah. And it just like, it's so validating.
It's super weird.
It's so rewarding. It's like the best drug in the entire fucking world. And you get addicted to it.
It's like success crack, where it's like it's not like finishing a house kind of like crack. It's like you nail one board. You're like, we're just getting started on the house, and suddenly it's just like such a small thing gives you such a it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's the best feeling in the world. And as a person who's had several viral successes,
yes.
Sorry, I'm a fucking douchebag. But you know, after like a certain amount of success like that, like you yearn for that, right?
Yeah.
And like when you don't have that after a certain amount of time, just like any drug, you're kind of chasing this dragon, and you feel like something's missing in your life. So while I'm working with all these people that like I've always wanted to work with, like Lonely Island and Adult Swim and blah blah blah, not having the optics of like not seeing the view count and seeing the comment count, you know what I mean? Like with commercials and stuff, it's a totally different kind of success and a totally different feeling that is in a lot of ways less rewarding.
Okay.
And
So then I guess here's a question. All right, what do you value more? Do you value like, I guess, I did a personality test the other day as part of a segment, and there's one question that came up that was like, it's so relevant to this. Do you think it's more valuable to be liked by many people, or do you value being powerful more? And I feel
what the fuck does being powerful?
Well, okay.
Like a dark wizard,
like a dark wizard. Like, no, but what I mean is like it's like having the ability to create what you want, I guess, so to speak, you know, and be very focused.
Or being successful.
Or being very, like, you know, virally minded. I guess maybe that's not the clearest way of putting it, but...
Well, like, you're saying, like, I could spend my brain power, my energy, making shit that I know will get successful because the internet follows these certain rules, and I could make memes and become a meme page and, like, do dumb shit to become successful and get those numbers and those views. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Rather than being creatively fulfilled doing the art that I really want to do.
Yeah, I mean, for some people, I guess it's
for me. It's always been a both.
Yeah.
It's always been this fucked up. That's why I'm like on YouTube, off YouTube, on YouTube, off. You know, I'm addicted to it. I'm addicted to the internet. I'm addicted to that attention. You know, and that like it's true. Like, it sucks. You know, I hate that. But having tasted that sweet nectar, it's hard to go back, you know?
Yeah,
so it's
is.
weird. Like, in many ways, you know, technically, like you said, like finally crossing that threshold and like living, like, you know, technically more successful than I've ever been, but I don't feel it. I don't feel successful because I'm not seeing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's really trippy to like technically like be well off and doing fine, and my career trajectory is going pretty well. But like, because I don't have that instant gratification of those views and those comments and the acceptance of strangers online.
Yeah.
I still feel that level of failureness, you know? It's crazy.
Well, it's like, I feel like it's a thing where you just can't have both at the same time,
especially nowadays.
Like, especially nowadays, when it comes to the YouTube world.
Yeah.
I think they're two different categories in a way,
right?
Because if you think about, I guess ultimately the stuff that makes stuff go viral, so to speak, is like, for me, it always seemed like something that virality wasn't the intention, so to speak. It wasn't the thing that drove it.
Right.
And so then, like, you try and be observational about it. You try and, like, reverse engineer your stuff a little bit and go, oh, how do we make this viral again? It's like, you know, like that process, I don't know, like it leads to kind of like confusing results.
Right, because also virality is also kind of this crazy fluke, you know, and it's like you can't ever fully predict it. Even if you have a video that hits all the stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's cats in space shooting lasers because that's all the internet is, right?
Yeah, I know.
No.
It's funny though.
I had a conversation today with a commercial company that talked about the internet being cats in space, and I was like, "Dog, that's like 10 years ago." Anyways, but what the fuck were we talking about again? Virality. Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, like so you have, but ultimately you have two sides to like. I think most filmmakers or creators right now who I guess really know the craft and have that kind of skill. Like I'm not talking about just a one-off like vlog. I'm talking about like people who know how to use a camera. They can edit. They can like really execute a vision. You have virality. It's a choice between virality and creative fulfillment in a lot of situations.
Right.
Because I don't think that they necessarily. I don't know. It's hard. I've struggled with that all year too.
Oh yeah.
Because like some of like the things I'm most proud of this
like
year.
anime self-driving cars was amazing.
There's anime self-driving cars and this other one that we just released called Moth, which is this horror one.
That was great too.
And like I would say those were the most creative, fulfilling things.
Right, because you got to do something you've never really fully done before.
Yeah,
which is
and like
a serious
really
horror film.
focus on it and like do it as best as I can do it.
And you expected those both to do better.
I definitely expected anime self-driving
and
cars
it
to do
sucks,
better.
right? When you like when it put it up, and it's like
it totally sucks.
It's like the shittiest feeling.
They're definitely the most creatively fulfilling pieces I've done in a long time.
And then a video, and
they're the most underperforming videos we've done in a long time.
And then you guys shit out a video like biggest lightsaber ever or whatever, and then it's like millions and millions and millions.
And then we make a sequel to it.
I've heard inklings of this.
Yeah, biggest laser gun. I was just joking around about that. It's like, hey, we should make a sequel to that called Biggest Laser Gun. And they're like, okay.
Weren't you one of the naysayers of the lightsaber video initially?
Oh, totally. I'm like, Nico, you should at least shoot it on a good camera. And he's like, the iPhone X has a great camera. And I'm like, you son of a, you idiot! This is never gonna like.
And then it goes hugely viral.
It blows up. It blows up.
Yeah, we should make a sequel to that.
Yeah, we should
shoot it on a flip camera.
I know, but that's kind of like the mentality we're kind of going into a little more right now, which is it's like, all right, hey, we had a video go mega viral. Just like, let's just take that stamp and then do it again.
It's so easy. It's so fast as well.
And in a way though, it's like it's actually. You know, we're constantly combating, like you were talking about, creative channels like ours. You know, like our mindset for the last few years was like, hey, let's do an idea and execute it and then move on to something brand new.
You guys have been much more like
brand new every time. And then it's like that's creatively fulfilling. Yeah. But the problem is that then you go after those viral things, which ultimately fuels the success of us as a company. And like it's impossible to like do something completely brand new and creative every time and also have it go viral because it's that's experimentation.
Your brain fucks with you too because with something like the Moth, with something like anime self-driving cars, you're like, hey, wait a sec, this is what I put so much time and effort into this. I care about this so much. This is, and like when you do put so much of your heart and your soul into this thing, you're like, there's no way that it can't do well because I poured my fucking soul into this, this is a part of me and this is my child now. Yeah. So when it doesn't do well, it's like even more heartbreaking, and but there's that old, the whole thing. I mean, we all have known this, but like, it's always the thing you care least about that gets the most successful, right? I mean, my Kazoo Kid trap remix thing is like sitting at like 50 million views right now. And I shit that out over a weekend,
but it's hilarious. It's incredible.
Like, it's crazy that's my most successful video. But like, luckily, like, I'd say the Donald Trump Japanese commercial is like my, like that's, I was very happy when that did well because that's something that I actually feel like shows off like my skill.
My skill. Yeah. It does. It shows some craft.
So I was like really stoked on that. But
I think it was successful as a viral video, but not as a political ad.
Yeah, well,
he's now our president.
Yeah, I kind of fucked that up.
You accidentally were like you accidentally made him look dope.
It was, that's the thing, man. Is like I can't show that off anymore as a calling card because it's fucking weird now.
It's like, oh crap.
Yeah, you see it now, and you're like, ooh,
they think you're a 4chaner or something.
Yeah,
like
this
that.
is dark. It's becoming like alt-right people have like used screen caps from it and shit.
That's
and
so funny.
It's dark now.
So wait. So would you say ultimately? Like, did it turn against you?
It never fully turned against me, but it definitely like there was a subsect of vaporwave called Fash Wave, which is like fascist wave.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was very small.
You clearly have peaked it.
Yeah, no. They definitely like used like there's a shot in the video of like Donald Trump Sieg hailing. With like a swastika behind him. And it's really quick. It's like a 2-second shot.
Yeah,
and they like use that as like the album cover and stuff. And it's like, ooh, this feels gross.
Ooh, it's like, oops, I made that. Whoops.
Yeah, oops. I better tell people that I'm not associated with this. I better MailChimp everyone I know. Yeah, so that's, it can get weird.
Yeah, parody's weird. I mean, I feel like, did anyone legit think you were like, I guess like a very adamant Donald Trump supporter because of that? Or was
it's interesting. I expected a lot of hate.
Okay.
There was not that much hate because the Donald Trump supporters were too dumb to realize that I was making fun of him.
Okay.
And the people that hate Donald Trump thought it was great. So
because I'm just curious, like, in this day and age, I feel like that is very clear parody, but I can imagine it's still going over some people's heads.
What went over people's heads is I did this thing with Super Deluxe that was a follow-up to that. I am not that much of a political person, and I never thought that I would do any videos that have to do with that shit because it's like you guys get it. I mean, you guys haven't really done anything.
You don't want to like.
You haven't touched upon that shit
at
all.
It's like I don't want to get that mud all over me.
No, that mud.
Yeah.
And so I did this video that was like, I kind of wanted to make fun of both candidates, and because they're both dorky in their own way.
Yeah, of course.
And Hillary is just kind of this kind of fellow kids kind of with her like
absolutely.
Pokemon, go to the polls, like, so, yeah, she said that.
I know.
And so I did this video with Super Deluxe that was a fake Hillary campaign ad called Hillary Clinton Meme Queen. And I got this Hillary Clinton impersonator that looks just like her.
Oh, yeah.
And
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. And so many people thought that it was actually her. And so many people were like so upset, just angry about that video.
Angry about what?
I don't know. They were just like pissed off. They were just like,
what would they say?
Just like,
what would they say?
Like talking about how cringy it was that she would do this, and just how like, like, oh, of course Hillary would try to appeal to kids this way, and
that's funny.
Blah 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 blah, and like what a piece of shit, and like and then like because at the end it said paid for by Hillary Clinton, or by the Hillary Clinton campaign or whatever the fuck, and even people who knew that it wasn't her still thought that it was paid for by her, which is really fascinating to me.
That's bizarre.
Like, why would Hillary Clinton hire a lookalike to make a video that makes her look bad?
And it's funny. It's like you watch a video like that and just glance at the YouTube channel that it's on. It's like maybe that'll clue you in.
Don't do that,
I know. Well, that's why the Onion still gets tons of people like commenting on it.
Oh
like,
man, Onion comments are my favorite.
Yeah. you read that r/8 the Onion?
No.
It's a whole subreddit on Reddit devoted to just screen caps of people believing Onion articles and then posting just like these hate-filled, insane like comments on. Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Somebody once said this and kind of stuck with me, but people are dumber than you can possibly imagine. And it's like the fact that Trump's our president, kind of, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, of course, not everyone, but like when you see stuff like that, you're just like, wow, like people are really just do not understand satire.
Yeah, well, there's a lot. I feel like, although I feel like also it's a very vocal minority too that ends up reflecting on everyone else.
No, I sound like a bitter asshole right now. I don't mean like everyone's dumb, but
I know, but it definitely makes a whole. It's one comment can make an entire group of people look bad.
Yeah.
So
and also like you said, vocal minority. Like the people who comment on YouTube videos are usually they have something negative to say. It's like they're always the vocal minority. It's like
it's funny.
I don't comment on videos nice things. I don't comment things that when I see a video I like, I'm not like, great job.
Oh, no.
I mean, do you?
No, I don't comment on videos in general.
Yeah. I feel like most people don't. But it sucks when the people that are dumb, that are mean.
Oh, that's funny. That's sad.
I'm just butthurt about mean comments, Sam.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, yeah. So let's see. So you did a cool segment for Off the Air. And I want to talk about that because Off the Air, it's like the best way I can describe it is it's an avant-garde variety show in a way.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like compilation show. How would you describe Off the Air? It's on Adult Swim.
It's kind of the only way I can describe it is using like shit that nobody listening to this will remember, like Liquid Television.
See, over my head.
Yeah, it's very like hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. No, I braved the storm. Okay. So it's very it's like all the best art and music smashed into one show, and it's very it plays out like a dream. It's edited very like there'll be a short that's beautiful and like using a CG and like using different techniques and visual effects to make something completely unique that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
And then it'll smash to something stupid and really funny and dumb.
Yeah.
And then go to something scary. And then the whole show has this ebb and flow to it that's unlike anything else.
Well, it's because almost like between segments, sometimes you don't even notice when you're in the next segment.
Right, yeah.
Like
yeah,
they deceptively hide these in a good way. The transitions between the segments, so it definitely is a flow for sure.
Yeah, and it makes you feel a lot of different things, and it's really great. It's been one of my favorite shows for like 10 years, 8 years, and it's on Adult Swim, and it's Adult Swim's kind of this.
Yeah,
I mean, having seen like shit, it's like definitely that those are people I've wanted to get my foot in the door with since day one.
Yeah.
And so finally And by the way, if you guys haven't seen Off the Air, you should absolutely go to the Adult Swim
you
YouTube
can just
channel.
check it out for free on their site.
All the episodes are on their YouTube channel. Just look up Adult Swim Off the Air. It's every episode is a different theme. And so, if you want to see some amazing video art and music, check it out. I think a lot of people like your guys' shit might appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because it's a balance of craft and just like kookiness, where it's like, it's like sometimes it is like high level, high visual concept stuff, and then it cuts to like 2 polygon, like low res, like jank animations that are just hilarious and off the wall.
It gets written off as a stoner show a lot. And,
I watched an episode yesterday, the one that your segment is in.
That's a good episode, right?
It's great, and I just sat there. I was like, wow, man, what a great show.
Every single thing in that episode
I was clean sober.
Yeah.
2 p.m. It was fantastic. It's fantastic. So.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. And so David Hughes, the creator of that show, I've been trying to get Senpai to notice me for a long time. And I'm sorry for saying that.
It's okay. It's a little cringy, but
I'm gonna go through all of this video and I'm gonna delete a lot of stuff. So I hope you guys are cool with me going into the edit, jumping in, deleting about half the stuff I've been saying so far.
That's fine.
Really streamlining it. And so I've been trying to get him to notice me, and I tweeted at him and I was like, "Hey, let me do a segment for Off the Air. I'll give you my firstborn child." And it's a lot, but I'm willing to give him my firstborn. It's fine. I can always bang out another one, And so he was like, "That's cool. No child necessary. I already have one." And he was like, turns out that he liked my work and he was aware of it.
Nice.
And then we went from there. And what was funny is that we actually had to shoot the segment before he was out of town when we pitched it to him. And the way that the timeline lined up, my cinematographer was going to be out of town in a week, and so we had to just produce it and make it regardless of whether it was going to be on the show or not. So we just had to go and do it.
Oh wow!
And hope that he accepted the idea. And if not, it's like, all right, well, I guess we're just out of a lot of money just to make a YouTube video.
Ooh, well, that's a good gamble.
Yeah, we rolled those dice,
Yeah. So I'm kind of curious because I have my own theories. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, go check it out. If you are unable to, Mike, explain to us what your segment is about or what happens in it.
So the episode is called Sound, and I was trying to come up with an idea for this, and the thing that I love about Off the Air is that it goes from unique artistic unique visuals to something that's mildly upsetting to something that's really cool and something that kind of shocks you a little bit. And I wanted to hit all these marks. in the video that I did. So I was trying really hard to come up with something that hit all of those beats.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Dan Harmon, like sad, funny, beautiful kind of thing.
Right,
Where,
exactly. That's exactly. And I try to like, for those of you who don't know, like I had a conversation with, we talked about this. I told you about, like where Dan Harmon was like, everything that we make, it has to be, it's beautiful, it's funny, it's sad, and it's fuck, what was the other beat? No, I think it's beautiful, funny, sad, and so yeah, trying to hit all those marks, blah blah blah, and then my next door neighbor's baby was crying like crazy. Yeah, and then I just pictured this alien puking a baby out and slamming it around, and and the rest is history.
Wow,
that's showbiz. I don't have anything against babies. I dig baby, dude. Your baby's dope, by the way, Sam.
Thanks.
I would not slam that baby. But so this video, it starts with like these 3 alien dudes in a nether void, and they're the pukes out a baby and picks it up and slams it, and it makes like happy baby noises. The baby loves this. The baby's loving the slamming, by the way. This is not upsetting. The baby's stoked on it. Yeah.
Of course, babies love slams and jams.
Yeah,
I mean, each time I bring my little baby on a walk, like I hit all the bumps.
Right.
In the stroller.
And he's having a ball.
And he just smiles and giggles. No joke. It's weird.
So, of course, and I think that CG babies are really funny inherently.
Yeah.
And, first viral thing on the internet.
I know, it's
was
a vintage
CG,
meme.
CG
it's like a 90, 91.
Yeah.
A vintage 91.
Refined. Ooh, that's aged well. So anyways, these aliens end up making a song out of slamming babies around.
Yeah.
and then, then it turns into like, that's how babies are made.
Wow. That's crazy. I feel like I saw it and instantly I was like, man, like this reminds me of like when we were jamming out on those little pocket operators.
Oh yeah.
With like the little baby samples and stuff, and like basically it feels like this is like the actual like song version of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's funny.
What was your theory? You said you had a theory.
Oh well, I mean that kind of was it. That was it, because I'm like, oh, this is crazy. It's like it's the real life version of like those weird little pocket operator jams we were doing. Those things are great.
Those things are great. We need to have a jam again.
Yeah.
No, it came out, I think, pretty close to what I had in my head. So very happy when that happens. That's very rare, as you know.
Yeah.
As a creator, very, very rare.
Yeah. It means you're getting better at it.
It's happened to me like 3 or 4 times in my life. Out of all the stuff that I've done, I've made like 3 or 4 videos where I can say, okay, this came out the way I wanted.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Most of the time you're compromising and you're like, you're cutting corners and there's no budget, there's no time,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's like, that's kind of like an approach that I've tried to bring to a lot of projects, especially like larger ones that are not YouTube related. It's like this idea of on one hand, count the 5 things that you want to walk away with as like being good about this thing.
Interesting.
And like focus on that and like not try and do all the things. It's like, do you want your main character to be like well cast, or do you want him to have a cool helmet? Like little dumb details that you're just really into and you want to resonate, and like just helping focus down on that process, I think is really improved.
Yeah,
my workflow anyway.
That's a good way to treat it. It's like the 5 things you want to take away.
It's actually a better analogy. Your house is on fire.
What 5 things will you save?
Yeah, like what can you carry? Yeah, what can you carry out? That's actually that describes it
something
a little
that
bit
you
better.
said. One of you said a long time ago has really stuck with me, and it's that every frame, every shot of your short or whatever, you look at it and be like, would this make a good desktop wallpaper?
I think that sounds more of like a Nico kind of.
It might
quote.
have been a Nico thing, yeah. But
dude, that's a high standard. That's a high ass standard.
I think about that a lot.
Well, I feel like, I mean, okay. Well, see, here's the thing. Like when I see you transitioning into doing some of the stuff with the Lonely Island guys, or like the commercial work that you're doing, like I feel like that actually meets that mark. And when you compared to your YouTube work, which like through necessity
It's quick and dirty.
It has to be quick and dirty.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and so like that's why I brought this subject up in the first place, is because that's when I say made it. I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, oh, like there's a fully executed vision. Like it looks like very, or at least fewer compromises had to be made than usual.
Oh, it's awesome.
So that's why I brought that up.
By the way, I'm coming down with something, so I hope you get a lot of really good sniffly sounds in these microphones. I hope that drives everyone crazy. This is gonna be, people are gonna be mad.
No, it's okay. We have a noise gate that will cut out most of them, hopefully.
That's how that works.
Or if each time you do it, you can just No, actually,
it also didn't help that I was just railing lines before I came in here. So
that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
No, I'm kidding. I love the internet tastemaker thing. I feel like there's
Jake had to write that. He was just like, all right, we got to set the stakes here. Well, usually, because the thing is, we want to fill that up with some kind of discussion topics that are a little more off the wall, like conspiracy theory stuff.
You guys talk about conspiracy theories?
Well, we do on our off time, but not on the podcast yet, because it's very dangerous territory. I mean, like, we have our own conspiracy theories, but I think they need a little refinement before we.
Give me one. Give me a taste of one. You really don't want to get it?
No. It's a gnarly one.
Oh wow.
It's a gnarly one.
Have you ever seen the Loose Change documentary?
No.
Ever seen Zeitgeist?
No. But let's see. I guess let's see. I wrote down meme shirts. Trying to start a clothing line.
Yeah. I'm starting to I'm doing this clothing line called Faux Deep.
Faux Deep.
FAUX Deep.
That's cool.
And it's a lot of like, I want to do a lot of like bootleggy style shirts, but make it like shit that you would see like the classic like Sonic Obama 10 backpack.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like all these third party like janky pirated products that someone just managed to get so wrong.
Right, like Pokemon where like Pikachu's like blue and stuff like that, and you know, and so that's been interesting. I'm trying to get that off the ground, finding the right fabrics.
So, you know? So is that what the Rick and Morty one was? With the Sonic and Garfield?
No, I did not make that. That thing was amazing and horrible.
That one was like that seemed like that was part of it.
No, I wish I could actually. I want to do something like that. I have some ideas. No, there's one. I'm working with this guy, Teenage Stepdad, who you know.
Yeah.
So we got some ideas cooking. Don't want to spoil them yet. But speaking of Pikachu, how about that detective? How about that trailer, huh?
I love it. I love how people like it. Yeah, me too. I'm like, I think, more bad ideas need to be done well.
It's just such a fucking obscure, like, they're not like, hey, let's just make a Pokemon movie. Let's just make a live action Pokemon movie. They're like, no, let's get the most obscure Pokemon thing we have.
So what is that? What is Detective Pikachu from? Do you know the origins?
It's a video game.
It's a video game? Okay.
Yeah. It's an actual, like, it was a video game, and I think it was brought to America in a weird time somehow. I don't know the full story, but I know that like nobody really played it.
Sure.
And
it seems like it makes a great movie, which is like one Pokemon can be understood by humans, and not any other ones. That's a great setup for Pokemon. I mean, like, I think that's probably the best Pokemon story, because if you don't do that, it's just like glorified like bullfighting basically, or like dog fighting.
And what's interesting about that, the fact that like it does kind of open some doors though. It kind of opens some doors to where it's like, oh, wait a second. All Pokemon are speaking in a way that like makes sense. They're coherent. They're cognizant. They're self-aware. They're not like just animals. They're not dogs. They're like, they can talk and they can feel and they can have emotions, which makes it kind of more fucked up that like they're slaves that are trapped in a ball.
Well, I think they're voluntary slaves. They for some reason are all cool with being a slave, right? Because I mean, even
I think if they were cool with a slave, you wouldn't have being slaves. You wouldn't have to like capture them.
Well, like even in like the show, like the cartoon. They're all like totally cognizant and like communicating, obviously only with one word, their name.
Yeah.
But like they clearly understand and obey commands. you know, I don't know. But
Yeah.
somehow, for some reason, they get back in that ball every dang time. It's like, dude,
Maybe it's really chill in there. I mean, maybe they got a really dope environment in that ball.
It's like a whole new universe in there.
Yeah. Or it's just like a hell void.
Maybe they'll figure that out in the movie. It's like, what's in those balls?
Yeah. This is now the Pokecast.
Yeah.
Corridors Pokecast.
Oh wow.
We eat poke and then we talk about Pokemon.
What's inside of a Pokeball?
Poke.
All right, pocket.
It's just poke. It's just like, you know, lots of fish and
just positive vibes in there.
Yeah. No, yeah, we got to figure that out. We got to get to the bottom of this. Maybe that's what the conspiracy theory episode can be about. So it's really
what's
in
a
those
Pokeball?
balls, man.
All right, what's in these balls? All right, what's in a master ball?
Man, I am really deteriorating this podcast by the minute.
No, I mean it's all right. It's good. It's all good. So yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting though, because it's kind of like shows you, I guess, like that is kind of the state of the film industry in a weird way, which is like kind of you have to be doing something very, very loud, I think, to get any attention right now.
Oh
like,
yeah,
in that sense.
Yeah, everyone's like, it's so interesting the reaction that's gotten, like how like people are just kind of pissed off about it, and I don't understand fully why. It's more just surreal to me to see like Pokemon in like a real environment and like to see how creepily rendered some of them are. Like Mr. Mime or whatever, like does not. It's very
they render
creepy.
the little hairs on it and stuff. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, but it's also like kind of jarring and like it's a little bit. He's a little bit uncanny valley, I would say.
That's cool. So I know you went to Korea for a while lately.
Oh yeah, Korea's dope.
How was that trip? What was the
great.
purpose?
Yeah, I was
just chilling.
Just chilling with the fam.
That's sweet.
Yeah, Korea's great, man. If anybody has the opportunity to go to anywhere in Asia, I would say Korea is the place to go. Cool. It is like, I mean, the Koreans are like the bad boys. The bad boys.
So you're partially a bad boy?
I'm partial bad boy.
Oh wow.
But you
partial bad boy,
that.
partial good boy.
And yeah. And so, you know, it's like they just know how to have fun and party and go nuts. And there's like,
isn't it like I think next to Finland, it's highest amount of alcohol presumed per capita?
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure I was looking that up a year or two ago, and it's like you have Russia, Finland, and Korea. It's like
I believe it.
Top performers.
Yeah, top performers. You'll see like businessmen like passed out in the street in their own vomit.
Oh my gosh.
I like this dude, like I saw this dude laying down with his cell phone, like laying outside of his pocket. And if that happened in America, you're fucked. But in Korea, like they're so respectful. Like I saw a dude walk up to him and like put his cell phone like inside his pocket.
Oh, that's very nice.
It's very nice.
Wow. They're very thoughtful.
Yeah.
So it's you are half Korean and half
Swede.
Half Swede.
Half Swedish.
Oh, that's interesting. And where do you get what from?
My pops is Swedish.
Okay.
My mom's Korean, and you know, it's they're adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say. I don't know if you've seen my parents, but they're very happy and they're very loving.
I think I met your mom once.
Yeah.
Probably. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you have.
It's always like whenever you meet people's parents, it's like in LA anyways, like I feel like chances are that it's at a really crowded party or something like that.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's like somehow that's the situation.
Have I met your parents? I don't know if I have. I think so.
It was probably at a crowded party that I don't remember much about.
Definitely met your cool uncle.
Yeah, he makes an impression.
I don't know if you guys have seen Sam's cool uncle, but he's very kooky. I would say eccentric.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, he's very much an artist.
Kind of like a badass, like he just looks like a crazy artist, dude. Yeah, if you saw him walking down the street, you'd be like, what does that guy do? That guy doing? Yeah, what is his deal?
So do you still have family in Korea?
Yeah. So that's part of the reason I was there, just visiting family and stuff like that. And just like, you know, it's interesting like having family like that far away because you kind of like forget they exist until you're there.
Like how close, how immediate is this family?
Like I have a lot of cousins and stuff like that. Okay. And my mom's sister and stuff. And it's really dope like connecting with people from, you know, especially people like last time I was there 10 years ago, they were like 5 and now they're like, you know, well, they're like 10
grown ass 10
yeah, now they're like 20-year-olds and like, you know, we can drink with them and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's super chill.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, Korea's a great place, man. I really dig it. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, definitely always try and travel as much as I possibly can. But
Yeah.
I've only been to Japan, not Korea yet.
That's right.
Someday, but
yeah, Japan's great too. But Japan's interesting. There's like this really, there's this loneliness and this kind of like disconnect that everyone has. You can kind of feel it, like it's so like it's such a repressed kind of culture that you kind of feel this isolation,
Wow.
and everything is also very like sexual and very like all the entertainment is like tits in your face and like la la la, it's like I don't know if you noticed that or not, but it was all very geared towards that.
Yeah.
Whereas like Korea, it's like you walking down the street and there's like an arcade, and then you go to the arcade, you go upstairs and there's like a place with like a cafe with puppies, and you just hang out with puppies and drink tea.
Wow.
And then you go up the next floor upstairs and there's like a bar where you shoot BB guns at targets, and like just like they know how to have fun in a way that I've never seen anywhere else in the world.
That's interesting. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it's just because Korea prides themselves as being like entertainment. People
I
like
guess so.
That's why K-pop is such a huge thing and stuff like that. I think that Korea like kind of they have that era. They're like they consider themselves like more entertainment focused than I think Japan and China.
Interesting.
So there's always shit to do, and there's like everywhere you go, there's like dope shit to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and just not that I am an expert on it by any means, but it also kind of like when you look at like Asia as a greater whole, it's like I feel like kind of like socially compared to like Western countries, like Korea overlaps just I feel like the most with I guess like U.S. culture and stuff.
It's starting to, yeah, especially with K-pop becoming much more of like a mainstream thing in a lot of ways. Like you see a lot of K-pop bands in like commercials and stuff now, which is really interesting to me. And like
actually, you're right.
It's finally like crossing over, and that's a pretty recent thing, but Korea definitely has a lot of overlap in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Did you go to North Korea?
I have been to the demilitarized zone between South Korea and North Korea. It's a very weird place.
I can imagine. What's it like?
It's intense, man. I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about the like what the DMZ is like, but like there's literally a building where one dude from South Korea is standing like with half his face covered by the building, and then on the opposite end of the building there's a dude from North Korea who are half his face is covered by the building, and their jobs are to literally stand there and stare at each other all fucking day.
Wow.
And that's what they do. It's
so with one eye
covered, but they wear sunglasses. They both wear sunglasses, so you can't really get their emotions or anything like that. I do not understand why that's a thing, but like literally these motherfuckers, these military dudes are just standing and staring at each other all day. It's really fucking weird.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I don't understand like what that accomplishes.
I mean, I guess it's like a quick draw thing,
I'm
right?
Just, like, keeping you in check.
It's like are they the closest guys?
Yeah, it's just I think it's just
ones?
so that there's like some sort of constant sort of communication between the two sides at all times.
Man, that's messed up.
But I don't understand.
Well, it's weird how like you can get to that point where it's like we literally need people staring eye to eye, just mere feet away from each other because the trust level is so shattered and shaken.
Absolutely.
Like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's very bizarre, and they wouldn't let me wear jeans that are torn at all. I have a lot of my jeans have like tears in them because I'm a bad boy.
Yeah. It was the half badness.
Yeah, the half bad boy Korea side of me that just wanted to act out and go nuts. And so I had to buy new pants. Because
who didn't allow you to wear those?
The DMZ doesn't, like the zone, because it upsets the North Koreans. I don't know why. They just don't like fashion.
They don't like too much skin.
Yeah. And I was like, it's called fashion, sweetie. Look it up. No, but they actually like stare at you with binoculars from the other side.
Okay.
And they like they like just peep you out. They're just peeping with their peepers, just looking. It's really weird.
And they see one guy with ripped jeans, and
boom,
then
nukes.
they're on the phone. They're like,
Hey,
you have to get him out of here.
These motherfuckers got to go down.
he's like, we can't stop looking at them.
Then you just get black bagged, and then you're never heard from again. I have all sorts of crazy stories, man. I mean, there's this like, I was driving by, like they did this tour of the actual zone, right?
Yeah.
And you get driven by this tree stump, this giant tree stump, and they told the story about how Kim Jong-il, basically what happened was like the Americans were like, hey, this tree is too big. It's blocking our view. It's blocking South Korea's view from North Korea, and we need to be able to peep at any time. And Kim Jong-un was like, no, I planted this fucking tree. This is my tree. And if you cut that tree down, it's an enormous disrespect, right?
Oh, wow.
And first of all, for him to have planted that tree, he'd have to be like hundreds of years old, right? Like it's insane. It's a giant
massive
fucking tree.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're gonna you guys gotta cut down this tree. Like, fuck you. You didn't plant this tree. You got to cut it down. It's too much.
Okay.
And they were like, no, fuck you. We're never going to cut down this tree. And then finally, they got these two soldiers, I think American soldiers, to cut down the tree. And they go to cut down the tree. And then two North Koreans with axes pop out and just murder them.
Oh, my God.
Like with axes. There's all sorts of crazy fucking stories like that.
And they're probably sitting there for like weeks.
Yeah, because it's dude. There's all sorts of crazy shit. Like, I mean, North Korea just like shoots down planes for no reason.
Yeah.
And then there's like this flag battle they had.
A flag battle? That sounds kind of interesting.
South Korea had this flag, the South Korean flag that was like kind of like is visible by North Korea, right? And so North Korea is like, oh fuck you. We're gonna make a flag that's even taller for our great nation. And then South Korea is like, no, fuck you. We're gonna make our flag taller. And then they build their flag even taller. And North Korea is like, no, double fuck you. We're going to make the tallest flag in the world. And they used like all of their resources. Meanwhile, the people are starving, right?
I was like, I was going to eat that.
Yeah. You could totally use this money to, feed your people. But instead they decided to make a bigger flag just for this giant dick swinging contest.
I was going to wear that fabric because I'm cold. But I guess you can make a flag out of it.
Yeah. No, like using the actual metal and stuff, like the structure itself is just like huge. And
that's still standing?
And it's still standing. It's completely
so you can
insane.
see it from most of South Korea, I guess.
It's insanity.
It really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not expect this podcast to go into talking about North Korea, but
I mean, I hate to say it, but I find that stuff fascinating.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is fascinating.
It's insane. It's remember when the fucking the interview came out? Remember that weird drama about that? Yeah. That was so bizarre. Like they were like actually gonna like start a war over like Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Well, do you think people will find peace with North Korea? I guess. Do you think all the stuff that happened over the last year is gonna go anywhere?
Like it's hard to say. I think that I don't think so. I think that in order for things to change, I think there's got to be something way more radical than like Kim Jong-il just deciding to be a good guy all of a sudden. And just being like, oh no, this crazy life that I was born into that he is the way he is because he was born into this crazy fucking, he was born a god.
Rich.
He was born a king. He was born this crazy god figure. And you're not just going to like grow up in that environment and all of a sudden get a conscience.
Yeah. You're right. God is an interesting word to apply to it.
Yeah.
It does, because I was listening to a lot of stuff about ancient Persia, like the Persians, like around the time of like Xerxes and that whole like biblical era, and you definitely have these. Yeah, it's that cult of personality thing that people, it rises and falls a little bit, but like it's not so much that kind of central figure thing. I don't know. Yeah, it must completely mess with you.
Yeah, no, that's gotta fuck anybody up. You know, and that much power and that much control will taint anyone. I mean, it's like kind of my theory about like I feel like if you get a certain amount of success and fame and money, it warps you. And I think that that's impossible. I think it's part of the human condition. Yeah. And it's interesting. Like, yeah, I hear that Donald Glover is like kind of, like doesn't give people the time of day. And it's like, yeah, of course, because everybody wants him. Like everybody wants a piece of you and you're the shit. And like in all arenas, that's gotta fuck with you. That's gotta fuck with your time and who you're willing to give your time to.
Do you think Donald Glover? Do you think he goes after views or virality or creative fulfillment?
Creative fulfillment for sure. I mean, he's like, a true artist. Like, I'm like, back to that point. I feel like I'm kind of halfway. I feel like if I really truly focused in one arena and I could have that focus, I'd succeed much more. But the fact that I'm constantly battling with that shit, where it's like, oh, I want to make this because it's like what I want to do, and it's like, but then it doesn't do well, and then I get sad.
And then meanwhile, he makes an album and then produces a TV show, and they're both great. And
I mean, he's a fucking unicorn. I mean, he's he's a fucking crazy genius.
Yeah, exactly. Don't compare yourself to who someone else is today. Only compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
Whoa, dude, nice.
There you go.
To compare is to despair.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I know that's a bad example. No one can bring him up because he's too good at everything. So just don't count him.
Yeah, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
Piece of shit, dude. It's so funny, like watching old. I don't remember if you remember Derek Comedy.
Vaguely.
His old comedy group.
Oh yeah.
And they had like the spelling bee and like a bunch of like classic internet sketches. And back when like you could make sketches on the internet. Remember that?
Yeah, right. I
Remember
know.
when there was like content?
Yeah.
Remember then there was like unblog related, video game related content on the internet that was entertaining and cool. That was cool. I missed that. Anyways, that's part of the reason why I don't fuck with YouTube as much anymore, is because like there's nothing really that inspiring other than you guys.
Well, it's tough because I think going back to that whole virality versus fulfillment thing, it's being derivative it's a much more sure shot as success.
Yeah.
And so in a way it's easier, but in also another way it just oversaturates it with stuff that you've either already seen or don't want to see. So
Yeah, absolutely. And so anyways, sorry, to finish my point, I was showing my friend, and this is more a testament to how things have changed over the past like 7 years, how comedy has changed, how entertainment has changed, how attention spans have changed rapidly, so much so that you can never be really an expert in any of it. I was like, my friend's a fan of Childish Gambino, and I showed them, I was like, oh, if you like Childish Gambino, you should see the old Derek Comedy like sketches, right? And I showed him the sketch that 7-8 years ago was the shit, and it's a 5-minute sketch.
Oh my god!
And
was it one of those times, like checking the phone and
oh my
halfway
god,
through it?
dude, it was the most cringy, like excruciating shit, and we were both just like,
oh man,
fuck is this gonna be over? Dude, comedy does not age well.
No, that's funny, especially YouTube comedy.
YouTube comedy does not age well, and you cannot make a comedy video that's more than like 2 minutes now.
So I mean, I guess that's the thing. So when you brought up, you're like, well, if you like this, then you'll like that. I mean, would you say that's partially like a side effect of the fact that I guess most sharing is like algorithmic based now, where it's like it's not like a person going, hey, you might like this, but you're used to like basically a machine telling you, like, with because that's how Netflix and YouTube and Facebook, and like we're almost completely in that world now where it's all about like
that's an interesting
predictability and
so
like,
a lot of virality has to do with built-in fan bases that are already watching your shit to bump it up to a place where it's like you're saying that it's like less word of mouth.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's either you have an audience that's there every time
but the audience has to do hand in hand with the algorithm, right? Because if the audience wasn't there, then how would you suggest it?
I see it separately. But it's three. You have all audience, all algorithm, or both. Audience plus algorithm.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like that's like true for anything. Like if you have an algorithm, of course it's gonna listen to a piece or take note of a piece that is getting views and actually getting organic traction.
Right.
But at the same time, like you can feed the machine. Like I must feed the machine. That's what I'm saying. But I think that's also playing into that thing of, the whole feeling of, it didn't go viral, whatever. It's I think it's sometimes not necessarily just, it's not actually a statement of quality, or like whether it's good or not. It's just like, you know, I don't know. I mean, that the robot that was like trying to dish it out to everyone just was like, I don't get it. You know?
No, I mean that is kind of the thing, you know, and it's like, especially, you know, with YouTube's algorithms being violently unforgiving.
Yeah.
You know, it's harder than ever to make anything successful these days.
Yeah. Well,
And
do you think? Okay. Well, I guess that's the question here. Do you think the algorithms like that we're kind of moving into? Do you think they help or hurt in the greater
I
scale?
think they hurt for sure.
Okay.
I think that, you know, like, and this might just be my age showing, but you know, there was a time when YouTube's front page was hand selected by people, and
definitely.
it was all interesting, good content. You can go to the front page of YouTube and see stuff that's non-algorithmic, that is handpicked by people that are just like, hey, if you like this kind of thing, here's this kind of thing. If you like cool special effects videos, here's this thing. Blah 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 blah. And I feel like that will always be better than an algorithm. Also, I mean, just the way that YouTube's algorithms become its own kind of beast. I feel like YouTube broke itself. I feel like YouTube is a just flawed, and they've even admitted to it too.
Yeah.
They admitted that they broke it.
Yeah.
And it's really sad, you know. And everything. I feel like the internet in general, without being too bummer, is just getting like exponentially worse every year. And I don't think that anybody can argue with that. I think that we can all agree that we remember a better internet like 4 years ago even.
Well, I think it's all about, like, I mean, as a concept, it's about breaking those positive feedback loops that you start to create. And you do it, and everyone does it in every other aspect of their life already. But like, especially, I think this is the most literal version of it. It's like,
wait, what do you mean by that?
Okay, well, I hand you something and you're like, I like that. And I'm like, oh, you like that? Well, I keep handing it to you over and over and over again. And suddenly it's just like your life just becomes, oh, I only like this one thing.
Right.
You know,
in that world.
Yeah. And so, you know, you see that with Facebook and the way news articles are shared. You see that on YouTube with how the algorithm shares videos. You know, Netflix, it's like it only shows you like, oh, well, you like action movies? Well, boom, only action movies. And I think it's all about like, you know, making sure you're conscious of those cycles that you put yourself in your own everyday life, like eating a particular type of food, like your diet, or like the way you kind of get exercise, or things like that. And like you put it's almost like
but
habit.
That's humanity though, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
We're habit forming. We that's comfort to us, and anything outside of that is scary.
Yeah,
and different.
Exactly. And it's weird because you have these feedback loops, I think, happening online with most people, and like their accounts, you know, they're being tracked and flagged and tagged, and you know, I feel like hopefully the future of that is finding a way to like effectively break that monotony up.
I think that what's interesting is that like Instagram is like one of the only things that I can think of now that hasn't necessarily shot itself in the foot to oblivion. You know what I mean? Like it hasn't fucked with the algorithm too much to where it's just completely, you can't keep up. It's unpredictable. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it makes sense.
You know why? It's because every single thing you're seeing on there generally is something that you made an active decision to view.
Yeah.
Like obviously you get some sponsored posts every once in a while, basically ads, but ultimately you're generally seeing the people that you chose to follow. Yeah. And they're not going, hey, by the way, we're just going to slip these other 3 random people into your feed that you don't know. And you're like, whoa. You know, it's like they haven't gotten to that stage yet. Obviously there's features to browse, etc. But like, I think that would be the kind of breaking point where Instagram stops becoming useful. It's like when it becomes too much of, I guess, a media network and not a social network.
Which it will, inevitably.
It's weird because I feel like I think it is moving towards that.
Of course. I mean, anything on a long enough timeline turns into that, right?
Anything, yeah.
I mean, anything that's successful enough on a long enough timeline
online, anyways,
becomes this kind of, you know, it starts out as Anakin and becomes this Darth Vader.
Wow, that's intense.
I mean, you know, everything. Remember Google? Remember when Google was like this friendly, cool company?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, Google, they're fighting for us," and now they're fucking evil.
Yeah, well, it's when they took the "Don't be evil" like phrase out of their like their mission statement. That's when it.
That was on their mission statement.
Yeah, it was "Don't be evil," and then it's mysteriously not in there now.
Take that out. That's fucked up. Now anyone can be evil.
They're like, oh, well, what about sometimes? What about as they like crack their knuckles?
Sometimes.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's inevitable. But
yeah,
you know, I don't know. I mean, it's weird because I think it's kind of it's a thing where it's. I think a lot of the things people think are bad decisions are ultimately still done in or with good intentions. Like most things in life, bad things happen with good intentions.
Sometimes, yeah. I do feel like yeah, like a lot of it also is just not understanding.
Yeah,
it's having too much power and not fully understanding the thing you have power over.
Yeah.
Thus, in order to make it look like you're doing your job, you feel the need to change it and make it better.
Yeah.
When it was fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, hence what happened to YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I hope this isn't all too negative. I'm not.
No. I mean, I think it's about like, you know, going in there and figuring it out. And we're talking about it right now. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
I'm not a very negative overall person, you know, and I don't want this podcast to turn into me being like, "Wow, my stuff's not going viral."
Yeah, I know. It's interesting though.
A lot of motherfuckers listening to this and be like, "Fuck you, dude! Like, at least you've had that success, you know."
Yeah.
And I guess my only point was like, yes, that's awesome, and I'm grateful for that. And of course, it's like made my life way better, and it's made my life. I mean, you know, I wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for that success. But all I'm saying is like anything, it's just interesting how it becomes this drug, and it's interesting how that dopamine rush is something you become addicted to, and that's why a lot of, you know, and with this YouTube stuff, like the way it is and how fast paced everything is, you're gonna see more and more of that YouTube burnout. That, you know, I don't know if you read that article about.
Oh, I've seen a lot of it. Maybe not the one you're talking about, but I'm very familiar.
Yeah.
It happens on Twitch even more.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Because like Twitch streaming is hard.
Twitch is like going out into the mines, man.
It is tough, man.
The social media mining, just like grinding.
Yeah. Exactly. And like, yeah, I mean, I don't understand how these people do YouTube nowadays with like having to release a video every day or every other day. It's like, at that point, you do not have a life. No. And it's still viewed as something where it's like, you're just a fucking YouTuber, you know? It's like, fuck you. Like, it's like, no, these people are working harder than you are. Like, you do not, like, you know, it's easy for people to talk shit about it, but it's like you, at that point, like, that's your existence, and it's hard as fuck.
Yeah, well, it's weird because ultimately, it's the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
It's there's no clear path to success.
No.
And it's just like, do people find it entertaining? You know, it's like, it's not about your message. It's not about your politics. It's not about anything. It's just like, that's all. That's the only thing that matters. It's like, yeah, is it entertaining? And yeah. And it's very hard to figure out what is entertaining, what is funny. Is it what I think is funny, or is what other people think is funny?
Well, that's another thing with our age, right?
Yeah,
it's interesting getting older in this world, in this fast-paced internet world, you know, because it's you kind of, I don't know if you've felt it or seen it, but you find yourself getting a little bit more out of touch with certain things where it's like. And I haven't completely gotten there, but you know, there's definitely
like when you read a meme and you're like, oh crap, I don't get this meme.
Right, and that's rare. That's rare. I mean, I stay up with my memes to an extent, and thank God, like I still find 90% of memes funny, like that.
Yeah,
especially the obscure, like insane shit. Which is always surprising when it gets big, right? Like the moth memes and like, you know, the fucking.
I didn't even get. I was introduced to the moth meme after we released the video called "The Moth."
Oh, really?
And then everyone's making meme references.
Brother.
I'm like, oh man,
the lamp. Oh no! And then so you have one of those moments. You're like, oh no, I'm old.
And then Nick is like, oh yeah, isn't that crazy how you named it after a meme? And like. Whoops! Like, yeah. I made a serious film based off
on
of
a
meme. Yeah, isn't that a crazy reinterpretation?
Please let me go viral. Please, nope. I'll suck your dick, man.
You know, I'd argue it hurt it.
That's interesting.
I'd argue that it was like everyone was like, oh, it's the meme, you know, instead of like being a
because
new thing.
Because you hit it at the tail end of the meme.
Yeah,
You hit it post the memes.
I let the
week-long.
door hit my ass on the way out.
Yep. It's that Half-Life, right? I mean, it's that
Yeah.
it's crazy, you know. It's like and it's impossible to make a video related to a meme now. It's like it's unless you can bang it out in a day.
Unless it's like one day, 24 hours max.
One day, but that also entails you catching the meme at its infant stage, knowing that it's gonna get bigger, beginning the process of making something based off that meme,
and that's impossible to do.
It's impossible.
That's like at that point you have to admit that you're gonna have one success every maybe 6 months.
I was very surprised when the anime fidget spinners video did as well as it did.
That's because it's so. We're just going back to the weirdness thing of like something that is so dumb and weird and like so no one would ever make.
Yeah,
you know, that's kind of what it is. Although then it turns out someone else made an anime fidget spinner video too, like a month before.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is like, oh, behind the curve again.
Yeah. That was an interesting experiment.
It was.
Experience.
How are we doing on time, Jared? I don't have a watch.
Oh, we're over an hour. We're good.
Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna cut off right there. No, I just because I realized that I have no way to track time in here.
Oh, yeah, you should probably do that.
Yeah,
you should get like a big timer.
A clock, just a clock.
Yeah, it's really, the clocks are cheap these days. You could really just get a clock.
Oh, wow.
Go to clocks.com.
Like
my other sponsor, Clocks.
Clocks.com/Mike Diva for 10%. Yeah. Man, I know. That's funny. Cool. Well, it's been good talking and good chatting.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been fun.
I'm really glad we got to catch up because after having a kid,
I don't
go outside
see you anymore.
I work all day and then I go home and I basically
dad all night.
I dad all night, and it's great. But
yeah, it's sad, man. It is
a little sad, but it's also great. It's also a time. It's a very specific point in my life too.
Well, it's important, you got to focus on being a good dad, and that's cool. That's respectable.
Yeah, it's like we're in that difficult stage too, where he's so young, where
so
impressionable. You got to be there. Anyways, yeah. So,
but it's been good catching up.
Likewise.
Definitely.
Cool. Thanks for coming on board here.
Thank you for having me, buddy.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to this awesome podcast. If you want to support it, head on over to corridordigital.store and get yourself some swag. It's really, really good stuff. High quality. Best ever.
Corridor Digital Store. It's really, really good stuff.
It's great stuff. Honestly, I am proud of it. Actually, I'm 100% proud, and Mike, I'll hook you up with some dope samples if you want anything.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Good night. Peace.
Love you.